Hey everybody, welcome to Lord Log number 2. It's Lord Aaron here, and I thought I would do an episode, not necessarily about anything to do with being a lord, but more about the important stuff, the Nature Conservancy. So right now, I am in my hometown of Lethbridge, Alberta, and I am in what is known as the Elizabeth Hall Wetlands, or Spokane as it is referred to by a local indigenous name. I'm probably pronouncing that terribly wrong. Anyway, just thought I would do some shots of my time here. It's a beautiful area. Lethbridge, Alberta is southwestern portion of Alberta in Canada. For those of you that don't know, it is on the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains. It's where the plains meet the sky in the mountains. So I'm just going to take some shots of some of the animals here in another nature reserve in the world, and hopefully it'll be of interest to you. So the nature reserve is located on the banks of the Oldman River, and it's actually a pretty popular place this morning. The area earlier this spring of 2020, had a fire, and you can tell by the trunks of the trees, but if it wasn't for the trunks of the trees, you'd probably never know there was actually a fire down here. Due to careless disposal of smoking paraphernalia is what the story is. So, but definitely the forest ground has come back quite well, and yeah, it's a great area. So this land is the traditional lands of the Blackfoot in southern Alberta, and not right where I'm standing, but more towards the other side of the bridge, which is, by the way, the largest viaduct in the world. It is well over a kilometer long for sure, and it was built, I believe, in 1909. And I think it still remains the largest bridge of its type in the world, the largest viaduct. But beyond the bridge, there's an area known, well, there's two areas. There's an area known as Indian Battle Park, and then there's an area off to the west, which I cannot remember the name of right now. But it has a hugely significant historical meaning, or imprint behind it. It is the site of the last intertribal conflict in North America amongst First Nations. So it was a battle that was fought in the late 1800s between the Cree and the Blackfoot, and the Blackfoot positively slaughtered them because they if I remember correctly, and I might be getting the story wrong, they had gotten word that there was basically a battalion size of Cree warriors that had come, and the Blackfoot were ready for them and just absolutely massacred them. So that is a huge piece of Indigenous history in North America, basically right where the camera is pointing over there. You can see some of the first-hand damage. You can smell a lot of wood cutting around here, actually, just cleaning things up, I would imagine, but you sure can smell it. Our Canada geese and their goslings are definitely growing up. There's quite a few of them over here. So there used to be a blind where you could observe all the birds and the animals, etc. But with the fire, it pretty well went toastiotes. That's about the size of that. So hopefully they'll rebuild it, because it's actually a pretty good idea. This is nesting grounds for a lot of, well, definitely for geese. As you can see probably from the previous video, and my God, there are a lot of them. Woo. And off in the distance is the new science building of my alma mater, an old academic stomping grounds, the University of Lethbridge. It's a great undergraduate, primarily undergraduate institution, although they are starting to bring in a lot more grad programs, but there's a lot of pushback from it too, which is unfortunate, because I think this area would really benefit for some of the grad studies that are going on there. But anyway, this is the beautiful river valley of southern Alberta and Lethbridge. So I decided to do a second conservancy of a sort, kind of, video along with this one in Lethbridge, Alberta, and visiting the Nikko Japanese Gardens. So this is the entry, and this is the placard. All right, in we go. So immediately opposite the Japanese gardens here in good old Lethbridge is another type of conservancy, which it isn't really. It's probably more a dumping place for dead bodies and, you know, rotting condoms, but it's known as Henderson Lake, a man-made lake. They do dragon boating and that sort of stuff on it though. It's yeah, it's kind of a nice area, big old trees along the coastline. Believe it or not, this is man-made.
And we do have an exhibit over there.
Hello.
Are we into that?
Well, how are you?